is definitely on the cutting edge of that. But let's talk about digital currency first. You're probably like, why is he showing me a picture of a 1965 Mustang? Well, I found that a lot of people, if they don't know what digital currency is, this presentation just goes right over their head. So I want to take a minute and do a little bit of training up front. And I want to talk to you about kind of what digital currency is. I want to kind of draw a little example, analogy with cars. And in 1965, there was 559,451 Mustangs produced, and a very popular car, by the way. No car, by the way, since then has sold as many as the 1965 Mustang. I don't know if you know that interesting factoid as I was doing my research. The sticker price was $2,395. Heck, you can't even get a good pair of shoes for that anymore. But, yeah, you can. But, when you think about, yeah, I mean, you can't take a good vacation for that anymore for a cost of a car. But the average price in 2015 today is 10 times what the car was worth brand new. And it can go a lot higher than that if you get one in showroom condition. And but what was unique about the Mustang, number one, there was only so many of them produced, so there was a finite number of them. See, if Ford had like the Federal Reserve type principles, they would just produce as many as they could. Okay, they just kept producing them and printing them and printing them and printing them until they were worthless. You kind of see they've done that with the dollar. But with Mustang, they didn't do that. They only produced a certain number. And so some of those have been in wrecks. Some of them have gone to junkyards. Some of them have been stolen, whatever. But, who knows out of 559,000, how many are actually left. But the fact remains that there are a finite number of them. And that's why the price keeps going up on them. And collectible cars have provided a great return, much better than the stock market over the last 20 years. And it's pretty interesting to see people in this space. They're people that make a ton of money buying the right cars and holding them for 5 or 10 years. But what was unique about the Ford Mustang was each one of them had a unique VIN number, a vehicle ID number. And here's something interesting. Here's the parallel I'm trying to draw. With digital coins, there's not really a coin per se. It's actually a VIN number. It's like a serial number. But with what we're doing, folks, the VIN number, there's only so many of them produced. So on a digital coin, there's a finite number of VIN numbers produced, or serial numbers. And we'll talk about how that happens later on in the presentation. But what happens is if your community grows and there's a bigger demand for a finite number of VIN numbers or coin numbers, the cost of your coin will go up, just like the cost of the 65 Mustang has gone up. Okay, so, and there will be a day where, like with one coin, they're producing 2.1 billion VIN numbers, if you will, just to draw the parallel. They're producing 2.1 billion serial numbers. And each one of those represents a coin, which right now has a value of about $2 per coin. Okay, and I was fortunate enough to get in about 120 days ago when the coins were at 43 cents. So it's been nice to see the coins that I have acquired through the mining process actually appreciate in value. So it would be like me picking up a whole bunch of Ford Mustangs 30 years ago and sitting on them, and now there's a huge demand for them. And people are willing to pay more. Well, guess what? There's a direct parallel to the digital currency space because people, and I like using cars because the VIN number, when you look at a VIN number, it almost looks like a cryptocurrency number. It's pretty amazing how long they are and the amount of letters and numbers that they have in them. But a digital coin is finite, and each coin has a unique serial number. Now, there is no actual coin, folks. It's a digital serial number. So calling it a coin is kind of a mistake. If the only way you can make a digital coin physical is if you print it out on a piece of paper. Okay, you get the serial number of it and you print it out. That's how you cut it in a circle, cut the paper in a circle, and you've got a coin. Okay, now when you think about the coin, when you think about a car title, titles have a unique VIN number for transfer of ownership. So it really doesn't matter if you hold the car or not. As long as you have this title, the bank will loan you money. Why? Because that VIN number is worth money. That car is worth money. And so if I have this title and you've countersigned it, but you hold the car, I hold the title. Guess who has the wealth? I do. Okay. And so when you look at this, I love the odometer one, 987,000 miles on this one. Pretty interesting. Exceeds mechanical limits. No kidding. It's an American Eagle 4-door car too. Imagine that. I never knew an American Eagle car could go 987,000 miles. But anyway, you can see the unique VIN number. This is obviously an example. But when you print out your car title number on this title, that is a certificate of ownership. Well, when you have an e-wallet with a VIN number with your serial numbers for your coins, your e-wallet holds the digital coin serial numbers. Okay, so it's kind of like a certificate of title. When you own those numbers, you own that value. Okay, and that's really all it is. It boils down to it, folks, is a VIN number is a unit of value. In the case of a 65 Mustang, a VIN number in a 65 Mustang is worth about $25,000 today. Okay, a coin number with one coin is worth about $2. Okay, so if you have 20, 30,000 coins and it goes up, another $2 in value, you say, oh, wait a minute, how does it go up in value? Well, let me share it with you. Number one, I told you it was finite, right? So there's only so many of them produced. So if there's a huge demand for your serial numbers, for your coin serial numbers, those values are going to go up. So let's look at the next thing. How are the prices of automobiles determined? Well, they're determined by public auctions. Okay, and guess what? The prices of digital coins are also determined by public auction. We call it an exchange. And so I have coins, I have serial numbers, or let's call them VIN numbers. I have VIN numbers in my e-wallet right now online. And if I want to go sell some of those VIN numbers for $2 a piece, I can go to my exchange and hit the sell button. And let's say I sell 1,000 of them. The company will put 2,000 euros in my pocket, or about $2,200. Okay, and so the prices of digital coins are determined by public auctions, and that's people that are willing to buy and sell the coins. Now, if there's no buyers, well, the price of the coin goes down. If there's a lot of buyers, the price of the coin goes up. Well, right now, one coin has got 535,000 people in its community, and it's growing by 5,000 people a day. You do the math. Okay, once we reach 1 million people, we'll be growing at probably 10,000 people a day. And when we reach 2 million people, we'll be growing at 20,000 people a day. Pretty simple math, folks, when you look at it, but it's probably going to be exponentially greater than what I've just shared with you. Because as we grow and gain more success, more people that have heard about us that haven't joined yet will finally jump on the bandwagon. And that's when they hit critical mass, is when all of the people who heard about it, who kind of blew it off, realize they made a mistake and they jump on it. Well, that's what caused the explosion of the internet, and a lot of other companies and stocks and things like that have shot up in value. And so that is just kind of give you a breakdown